it's very early, very early for us, especially for Dr. Bawumia. I think what was important for him is to protect the sanctity and the sanity of this country's democracy, and continuously, elevate the image of this country. And for me, I think we need to really applaud him. I don't think we are amplifying that gesture enough. That
he didn't have a choice, did he?
So he did. I mean, he could have. The NDC have lost Ablekuma North and they are burning pink sheets. They have lost Suhum and they are fighting. They have lost Nsawum and they are fighting. So he could have taken that option. So let's not discount that gesture. I think it was a huge feat for us as a country, for us to have a leader like that. The NDC basically was holding. You saw them holding a return officer at Okaigwe Central and saying it. So say after me, they say it and then you saw the petition for the Tema Central return officer. You saw his report and what he's written. So they have choices.
So he could have said no.
But the NDC are doing it. They are doing it at the moment. So they are doing it. So we could have done so.
No, but if your defeat is a narrow one like happened in 2008, you could fight it.
I'm saying that the NDC have lost a lot of seats hugely, but they are doing it.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
So Umaro, let's not create. Let's heal when it is there, so others will learn from it and find it attractive. It is a big deal. It is a big deal. He had choices. He could have contested almost all the coalitions and say, let's run it again, and then Bennett, like the NDC, are banning it. He had choice.
He's a criminal.
Yes, exactly.
So he didn't have a choice. But he wasn't going to be criminal.
So because he's not like them. Because he's not like them. You understand? So we need more people like him.
They handed over to you power in 2016.
We need more, but we handed over power to him in 2009.
Yes, and they handed over to you in 2000.
Exactly.
They had Jerry wearing military boots and civilian.
That is why we need to heal this and not just trivialize it. Because even in these same elections where he conceded, and even watchers, CSOs, international organizations say, why did you concede so early? Okay, even in the United States, today they are still contesting their 20 elections there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was Trump who was contesting.
Yeah, the Trump one. They are still contesting and he's back. They still didn't finish.
Georgia.
It's still being contested and he's back. So really, it's something that we need to really heal. And that is something that we need to highlight so that others will learn from it. We shouldn't always highlight the negatives. We should highlight positives like this so that people will find it attractive. People say, hey, when Bawumia did it, you saw all the applause and also let me also follow suit.
Do you think, and there's a view that when he conceded, it meant you had given up, and that also affected your parliamentary result because you hadn't finished parliament and then you still have some of them being contested, but the man who is leading the whole team says we have lost. So because of that, it became problematic for you.
So because I opened my door when I was going to sleep, you should come and rob me.
Yeah, but
I'm just making a point. See, so let's call out the NDC on these acts. Tomorrow, the NDC is forming government without any hindrance. They have no reason to do what they are doing. It is criminal.
You did it for them in 2016.
It is illegal. It is criminal. They don't have to do what they are doing. You don't have to burn ballot papers and pink sheets. You don't have to put a gun to a parliamentary candidate and tell him to sign a declaration.
In 2020, you did similar things.
Who? A parliamentary candidate. South. Who? MPP did what?
People died.
So you have investigated and confirmed that it was an MPP that killed those people.
MPP was in government.
Exactly. So again, so you're in government. You are responsible for the security of the people. So that's fair. But you have no evidence to show that the MPP as a political party did what the NDC is doing.
But it's until NDC hasn't claimed the responsibility for
the videos are there when they are wearing MPP t-shirt and saying Yebeshen. We've seen the MPP contesting and fighting it. We've seen it in Okaigwe Central. We've seen it in Tema Central. What are you talking about? You see, when you do these things, what happens is that you are not only emboldening what is happening, because it's like you're not ready to condemn these things. It is clear, it is evidence. There is no question about it. Call it out. Let it be known. And then let them now use that shame to begin to talk to their people. But if we continue to say we don't even know it's NDC, and we are continuing to embolden them because it is NDC.
when we went into the elections and returned, and the victory was not yours, and the defeat was huge, a lot of your party members said it's because MPP people didn't show up to vote. As part of your postmortem, is that something that you're going to start saying that, oh, everybody didn't show up to vote?
So, like I said earlier, it's very early days yet. But preliminary, there are certain facts that you can't run away from. For example, the turnout was a factor.
Yeah, but the turnout could have affected both parties.
No, not true.
Why did it affect only you?
So based on data, you cannot use assumptions. So for example, if 10 people had turned out and they had voted, 7 of them had voted for Mahama, you could use that easier assumption. But at the moment, if you have in your strongholds areas where if 10 people vote, 8 will vote for you, just 50% of them showing up, and then you have about 60-70% showing up in your opponent's stronghold, then it's one of the earliest preliminary conclusions you can come to. It doesn't mean that's the only thing, but it is a fair ground at this point. When you do a deeper, detailed analysis, maybe stronger ones could come up. But the fact of the matter is that in Greater Accra, close to about 600,000 of the people who voted for MPP. So MPP got over 1.2 million. And this time, MPP and NDC got about 1.3 something million. But this time, MPP gets just about 680,000. 680,000. Then NDC remains around the same 1.2, 1.3 million. If these 600,000 had added on to John Mohammed's votes, and NDC is getting 1.8 million, then you can easily conclude that the people who voted for you previously are very, very, very switched, or they love and then they voted for you. But it's obvious that these people just didn't come. They just did not show.
So the NDC maintain its base, you didn't get your base.
You drop by almost about 50%. So it's in Greater Accra. So
and almost everywhere.
Yeah, so that is not the only conclusion. Several could come up. But preliminary, this is the one that is grounded in fact and in data. And in fact, if you talk to a lot of your reporters, they will tell you, at some point, you could see people standing in our strongholds in the police station and tell us they won't vote. Like they wanted to spite us. They just wanted to show us that we did not vote. I had to go to my constituency 3 times in the course of the day to basically go and beg and say go and vote. I go to the area and I see them in the police stations. They are standing, observing.
It's not as if they've gone to work.
They came to the police station.
Yeah,
they see me anytime it's Oriental. They can't see themselves voting for John Mahama, but they just want you to protest and tell you that we are not coming to vote.
Then you had government machinery behind you. You had the Bureau of National Investigations. You guys did pollings upon pollings. All the investigations you did, you didn't see this apathy from your party members. You didn't see it, or you saw it, but you thought, oh, at the end of the day, they are elephants.
We saw it and worked towards it, but maybe it wasn't enough. We saw it and
because it was so bad, huh?
Yeah, maybe it wasn't enough.
Because if
you listen to our campaign, it was all about let's get out and vote. I mean, I used to even say on some of the platforms that if you don't vote, you are automatically voted for the NDC. You know, that was the conversation.
So they knew this and they were still at the polling station. So, because what you're saying to me is that, so they were standing there by their own foot.
You can even ask some of your reporters, they were there.
I mean, I went to polling stations where there was nobody coming to vote. Your agents, when I spoke to them, said, oh, they are going to get the people to come and vote. All the other agents.
Our people who went to the homes to go and, get out to vote, they will go and tell us your metal. You see, the person says, I don't want to vote for John Mahama, but I don't want to vote.
And this is why.
I mean, so again, admittedly, there were various issues that we can't run away from. The cost of living is one, Umaru. The cost of living, for which reason we tailored our manifesto to address, was an issue. You know, and so once we tailored our manifesto to address that, clearly it was an issue that was of concern to the people. And it's quite obvious that from these votes, the people felt that let's just let you go.
So they were disappointed
in us. It is very obvious.
But the government didn't see this.
You see it and you have to work towards it. So you keep saying we didn't see it. We did. But the effort is to work towards ensuring that you're able to.
Yeah, but that was a very poor work because the thing is,
I mean,
if it is true that genuinely your people didn't come out to vote, that's an awful lot of people who decided simply that I won't vote.
But the data is clearly showing that. Yes. The data, this one is data. The data is showing that.
It means that you guys have been very incompetent.
Well, I mean, at this point, you know, I always say that when you lose an election or you lose a competition and you get such feedback, you take it.
You are horrible.
I apologize for that.
You are essentially the worst government in the Fourth Republic.
I don't know how you are doing that. If you based on the indicators.
Yes, based on the number of people who refuse to vote for you.
If that's your analysis, then why not? If that's your analysis.
I don't like how you are conceding to everything.
What should I do? When you lose a contest, if we had won,
yes.
They'll say, hey, that thing they did, it was a master stroke. They knew what they were doing. You know that thing they did, they were sure. And these guys, so all this while they were not listening to this thing, means they knew what they were doing. But when you lose, you've lost. You understand? When you lose, you've lost. Have you seen the way people were grilling? And what I heard people said, the reason why I use football a lot is that I try to highlight the psychology of competition. You see the way people will be grilling Bellingham and Mbappe when we lose. My Real Madrid loses just one match. But when they win, you see the way they heal them. That's how politics is all about. So at this point, for me, I think that's what I've been telling everybody, that let's embrace it. Whether you like it or not, you've lost. So let's embrace all the criticisms, all the feedback, and only makes us better.
You have always said that the presidency and the parliamentary level should be separate and distinct, and that parliament elections are generally local issues. How come your MPs didn't win that?
The sins were applied, the sins were the sins of the center.
But it's not normal, right? Does that happen that
it doesn't happen often?
The president's sins will be visited on?
It doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often. That's why even in 2020 you realize that there are some constituencies that the president won and we lost the seat.
Yes.
But this time, I think it's quite clear that this time the party was voted against.
It was a whole party, not necessarily the candidates.
The party was voted against.
Are you sure it's not Dr. Bawumia's unpopularity that you thought was very
I'm looking for one person that is able to, evidently make that point. Because you've heard on the commentary since we lost these elections, and it's quite clear. It's quite clear that Dr. Bawumia's capacity, his level of innovation, creativity, and his application to duty is without doubt. There is no candidate that worked harder than him. No candidate that worked harder than him. There's no candidate that distinguished himself campaign-wise than him. But you can be at the right place at the wrong time. You can.
The people who say that it's Akufo-Addo lost the election. What's your view?
I don't know. It's a government that lost the elections.
Akufo-Addo's government.
I have learned a lot in this life in my very early age to realize that you win as a team and you lose as a team.
So you join. You're not going to act. You're not going to.
I was an MC. It is possible that in some areas they needed a little bridge. Akufo-Addo has put me there. He's not in my constituency. He's not in my municipality. So it is possible that I didn't do it, and the people will be angry at the government. It wouldn't necessarily be Akufo-Addo's direct fault. I could have contributed to it. All other appointees could have contributed to it. People sitting in oil companies, people sitting in financial institutions, people sitting in public institutions that have been entrusted with the responsibility by the president. All of us, it is the aggregation of our work that determines or defines the president's work. So I've actually heard a lot of people say Akufo-Addo. It's okay, that's your view. But I think that it is appropriate when we say the government, which all of us are part of. It is the government. And we have to go back, reflect, reassess things, and reorganize ourselves and get back.
Which one is going to come to? So there's going to be a Mahama government very soon, but before then, your own party, what's the recovery process going to be like? How are you going to recover? Can you even recover?
Oh, we've done this before. You know when we won 2016 elections, some people said the NDC had collapsed. 1 million, remember? 1 million, this one they can't cover. It's the beauty of the day. The point is that we're going to support the President Mahama. Clearly the country voted for him to scrap A-levy, scrap betting tax, to make sure that in public sector institutions, people are working 133, make sure that people have jobs to do midnight, and we are going to support him to implement it. Because the people have entrusted power to him for him to
support. You mean force? I'll ask you what kind of position you're going to be. But I just want to
support him to do that.
I want us to do more with the NPP as a party.
So we're going to rebuild. We clearly, if the people didn't turn out, then get them to turn out in the next elections. Clearly, get the people to trust in you, in your formidability, and get out.
That would mean that you shouldn't do Edidija.
Whatever it would take.
Do you agree that you've done Edidija?
I really don't know. You can't. I don't think there can ever be a time where there would never be that, because I don't see how a party that gets 6-7 million votes will be able to come to power and every person will say, "Oh, my party is in power and I'm happy." So surely you're going to have 1 or 2 people that you're either going to step on their feet or toes. You're not going to be able to satisfy, and that's likely to come. It's about the management process.
They said that you should have done a reshuffle so that Team B would also come, so that
it's one of the issues that people say that we asked you for that, you didn't do it. We are worried about that, so we are not going to.
There's another view that you have a weak national leadership, national executive.
It's very subjective. It's very, very, very subjective. You know, when you sit at the room and you understand all the ingredients, you understand it better. It's very subjective. I think we leave that judgment to the people who take the decision on the national leadership. It will be unfair for anybody to be able to sit, back and do that critical analysis. But eventually, I'm sure the party people, the delegates, they would pass that judgment. And whatever judgment they pass, that is what all of us will rally.
When NDC lost the election in 2016, the argument was whether it was a jockey or the horse, whether it was John Mahama or the party. The NPP conveniently said it was John Mahama that was a problem. This time, who is the problem? Is it the party or the flag bearer?
I think we're not the ones saying. I think it's clearly the government.
It's not your candidate. You don't think the candidate was unfit to be your candidate?
I don't think so. I mean, from the feedback, and this is not my view, the views that I have aggregated and the feedback I've gotten, I think that the confidence level in the candidate is unshaken.
You think people vote for the emblem more than the picture?
People vote for several reasons.
Yeah, but if there's a defeat, is it the emblem, which is the elephant that lost, or it is the picture of the Wale boy that lost?
We've lost. The MPP and its candidates have lost the election.
Yeah, but it's a candidate that is being sold. Because if Akufo-Addo won 2 times,
it is difficult. It
won 2 times.
To be erroneous, to be very erroneous for anybody to say the emblem or the candidates, because it's a cocktail of issues that come in to determine the outcome of the elections. So at this point, conveniently, depending on where you stand and what you want to achieve, you can pick what you want.
Can he recover as a politician?
He lost as a running mate in 2008. He lost as a running mate in 2012. And he came back in 2016. He's gone through this before.
So he can come back?
He's recovered.
Can he be put back on the flag for the NPP?
I think anytime Dr Bawumia decides that he's going to run, I'm very confident the party will rally behind him. Because the party is clear in their minds that the man's level of creativity, his leadership qualities, and innovation is something that Ghana needs.
So you still believe that he's the best person to give you the job?
Without doubt.